Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to talk about the idea of inertia building inertia. So, what I mean by this, simply stated, is the idea that if you just take that first step, all of a sudden it's like a snowball effect. It will just build over time and you will gain this like amazing momentum. Let me kind of highlight through my own experience. So, when I was doing all these various lessons when I first started my podcast, the Phil Svitek podcast, which you're essentially watching right now. And, I was putting out one a week and sharing various tips and lessons that I've learned along in my life. And I thought, okay, once a week sounds about good. Given my workload and also just in general, I was like, well, if I just put out one a week, that seems like a good pace, because otherwise I might ran out of stuff to talk about and good ideas. And then there was a certain shift that just kind of opened me up mentally, certainly thanks to Gary Vee and so forth, of like, you know what, let me just put out more tips, because I have so many tips. I think why hold on to them? And if I eventually run out, I'll run out. But like these things could benefit someone right now. I've always talked about in the past, like, people shouldn't hoard ideas. They should freely share them. And so that's essentially what I do. So I was like, let me share these ideas. And what's kind of interesting, and so, I kind of committed to sharing a big lesson every single day, but then I also share like different mini lessons on a different topic, on Twitter, TikTok, and so forth. But this, what you're listening to right now, is what I call like the big lesson, right? Where I really go in depth. And so the idea was, I'm going to do one a day. And what's kind of been cool about it is that it's really built upon it, right? Like, where before I was so worried that I wouldn't have stuff to talk about, now even at basically doing one big lesson a day and kind of posting through other stuff, just these mini tidbits and so forth, like, there's not enough posts that I can create for all the things that I want to share. Like, it's crazy once you really kind of get into that mindset. Really, inertia does build inertia, and so now all these ideas are coming to me of like, oh, I got to share this, and oh, this was beneficial in my life, I want to share that. And it's just really crazy the snowball that it creates over time. And the only reason that, like, I took a couple of days off last week, and that was because I wanted to practice what I preach, and in that sense, like, it was the early days of the coronavirus quarantine, and so a lot of my friends were kind of dealing with it in various ways, and I wanted to really be there for them in that way, on a personal one-on-one level. And I'm lucky enough that I have, and now they've calmed down, and I've calmed down as well. Like, I had to process my emotions as well. And so now I'm kind of back to it and, building that inertia. So that's how I've been applying it. Now, let's talk about you. I know all of a sudden we're in this quarantine and it might feel like life literally halted. And, you're going to have to really build that inertia to kind of get to where perhaps you want to go if it really just all of a sudden halted. But I promise you, if you just take those couple first steps, inertia will build inertia over time. And, I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they used to go to the gym and that used to be their thing. And now, like, okay, they're at home and they don't have the gym equipment that they have at the gym. Well, that doesn't mean they can't work out. And while initially may have been hard to be like, okay, well, how do I do this? I know, like, shout out to my friend Daryl Kristen now. Like, he has his own workout regimen at home that he does daily. And it's becoming a lot easier, right? So inertia builds inertia. So whatever that may be for you, really define that. But that is how you can kind of sort of get back to the routine, or even create something better perhaps than what you had before. Take those first steps. This is a time of introspection. And this is time to really reflect. I think that's the opportunity we've all been given. That doesn't mean I negate the horrors that are going on, but in general, There's a collective kind of reshuffling and rethinking of what once was and what our values were, and more specifically, what our individual goals and values were. And we have the ability to change that, and to do that, take that first step, and you're going to see some really amazing things. And I really believe that because I've seen it in my life. Anyway, that is what I hope for you. If you have any questions about this, or thoughts of your own, by all means comment or hit me up on social media at Svitek. If you feel like someone in your life could benefit from this information, this this lesson, please by all means share it with them. I would appreciate it, and I certainly hope that they would too. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to check in. I hope all is well with you, and I hope to see you next time.